Hey, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Definitely hope everything is good with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Kind of just cooling. But in this video, I just kind of wanted to speak about and just let everybody know that everything is always at all times working in your favor. And I wanted to also let you know that the truth will only appear to you when you can just rise yourself to that level. You know what I'm saying? You can easily tell somebody something, but they won't really be able to see that truth for themselves until they themselves are on that level. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of things I've heard, plenty of things I've read, but when I heard them and read them, I thought I knew what it was speaking about. But as I've gone through some things, gotten older, I can see what that message or what that reading, what that phrase or what that reality was truly speaking about and reiterating. And I also want to let y'all know that this message is intended for the select few, you know what I'm saying? So everybody is reading about the occult knowledge. A lot of people are researching and studying and whatnot, but everybody isn't able to really pull out the true spiritual reality out of the text and out of the things that they're reading and experiencing. Everybody's talking about magic, angels, demons, waking up, meditating, third eye, this and that and the third, but very few people are actually seeing these principles and manifesting realities within themselves. So just kind of things that I've been experiencing lately, everything from situations that you think are destroying you or are negative in your life, and situations that you think are beneficial and happy in your life. Both sides are just the force of the spirit just working to elevate you and to mold you into who you really are. And secondly, I also want to let you guys know that the soul is soil for your spirit. You know what I'm saying? So you know about how the English language, you can take different vowels, and as you interchange the vowels, the word still kind of has the same meaning. So the word soul, you know what I'm saying, S-O-U-L, you have soil, S-O-I-L. So the soul is it's a metaphysical meaning, you know what I'm saying? So the soul is soil for your spirit, you know what I'm saying? So maybe you is that ego, you started out as a seed, right? So this ego was planted into this ground, which is the earth, on Malkuth, you know what I'm saying? The Malkuth plane, the physical earth. So the ego was planted into this seed. You know what I'm saying? It was planted by the Father out of the nothingness into this Malkuth. You know what I'm saying? You might have heard about how, I believe it might have, I don't know, said they know if it was Osiris, but there is an Egyptian god, a deity, and bro, he would basically jack off, and his ejaculation was the creation of the universe. So, you know what I'm saying? You know about the semen, and the semen is also a seed in itself. So the deity, or really just the nothingness, you know what I'm saying, that most high point on the tree of life, it ejaculated, or it expressed its light in a spiritual form, and it got condensed right here in this Malkuth plane as a physical human being, as a seed. But within that seed is also a soul and a spirit. But the seed has to go through certain things in certain situations. It has to get shined on by the light and the darkness, and it has to get watered upon, it has to get rained upon, it has to get cooked so it can grow just like a plant. So the seed was manifested and born into this ground, and you have that as your ego. You look at yourself as separate from the universe. You look at yourself as separate from the people that you're around, separate from your family and your friends, separate from school, separate from just the people in this world, and a lot of times even separate from yourself. But the ego then is watered upon by these life happenings, where there's struggle, where there's happiness. You have to get out your comfort zone. You go through things that shake you up, go through things that make you angry, but these things develop you and mold you as a person. And all of these things are going on in your soul. Remember that your soul is soil for your spirit. The ego is transforming into the spirit. How I was talking about in a previous video about how the caterpillar will transform. He goes into the cocoon and transforms into a butterfly. And this is what occurs with the spirit. So the soul is where the transformation takes place. It's soil. The soul is soil for the spirit. All right. So the ego manifests, just as this individual light, it then grows. It goes through life processes. It goes through struggle. It goes through happiness. It just goes through this thing we call life. And it manifests itself. So, you know what I'm saying, the ego, or really the spirit, more importantly, has to know that this is just a process. This isn't the first lifetime, and this won't be the last lifetime. You know what I'm saying? The spirit just has to go with the process of life. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you're a plant, some days it's rainy, and you need those rainy days because you need the water to grow. You have to have the rainy days if you're a plant. And you also need the sunny days because you need the sunlight to grow. So same thing for you as a spirit. You need the rainy days because this is what's going to allow you to grow. You need Plants, if plants don't have water, what's going to happen to them? They're going to die. So same thing for your spirit. If you don't have spiritual water, if the spiritual waters aren't pouring in, basically you're pouring into your life, then you will eventually die. You'll wither away. The life can't be supported without water. And just like you have the water, the plants also need sunlight. If the plants don't have sunlight, the plants will eventually die too. They need both forces, the sunlight and the rain. The plants don't think that either one is better than the other. So you as a spirit, you can't look at them as better than the other. You can't think that the rainy days are worse than the sunny days. You need both of these days. You need both of these forces in order to really become a true God. This is who you really are inside, but your seed has to be developed. You know what I'm saying? So the seed takes in the sunlight, and you have to take in the sunlight too. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I just kind of want to just reiterate that the soul is soil for your spirit. These life forces, they pour upon you, but eventually it's all good, y'all. Like everything is just working for you. So thirdly, what has to happen is that you as a spirit, you have to develop true faith. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about just the typical faith you hear about in the Bible. We're talking about true faith in yourself. True faith in the things that you are doing. True faith in the things that you are planting and sowing in your life. You know that you reap what you sow, so you have to know. When you have doubt, your creation starts to kind of get weary and wary, and it's kind of iffy. But when you know for a certain, when you know for a fact, then you know that everything you go through is leading you to a higher place and a higher plane. You know what I'm saying? In my personal life, I feel like I've been going through nothing but struggle lately. But when I look across the horizon, when I look back in my life and see where I was and where I am now, a lot of these rainy days have grown me as a spirit plant, as a spiritual person, and I'm becoming a man right now. This is why I can give you guys this wisdom. You know what I'm saying? The truth is only revealed to those who put in the work and those who really evolve themselves. You know what I'm saying? You have to transcend yourself. You have to transcend the levels. You can't just play with it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You have to really get into it. You know what I'm saying? And also, I kind of just want to let everybody know that you have to start with the basics, all right? The plants, you know what I'm saying, the trees, or, you know what I'm saying, or the seed. The seed doesn't just go from a baby seed to a 100-foot tall tree in a day. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't happen. The seed has to be underground. The seed gets watered upon. Then the seed has to crack open, y'all. And this is what you have to do with your ego. You have to crack open your ego. You have to break that shell. Because in that shell is a spirit. The spirit inside you is the one who you really are. And the spirit inside you is the one that wants to break free. So just like the rain comes down on the seed, and the shell of the seed cracks open, and then you have a sprout and a plant that begins to rise, the rainy forces and the sunlight forces of life are pressing upon you so it can crack this ego of yours. That way the spirit within you can really grow. At first you might have needed the ego to feel good about yourself, which is like the seed. The seed needed the ego because it might have been a bird, it might have been worms, it might have been other parasites that would try to eat the seed when it's underground, or eat the true contents that are in the ground. But I take that back, that is in the seed. But eventually, the plant can come out and fend for itself. It doesn't necessarily need the shell of its seed, or the shell of, you know what I'm saying, the outside covering. Just like you as a person, eventually, you have to grow and stand for yourself, and no longer you need an ego to survive or to feel okay about yourself. You're okay, and you can weather the storms of life yourself. You know what I'm saying? You really just have to see this truth. This is the truth that I'm seeing in myself. You just have to see how everything in life is speaking to you about just the process of the soul. You know what I'm saying? You hear about how we live in an illusion, but we really do, y'all. You know what I'm saying? The sun isn't out there shining just to shine. The sun is out there shining to remind you of who you really are. You know what I'm saying? Rain doesn't just rain, and it doesn't just happen. You know what I'm saying? There aren't fish in the sea. There aren't birds in the sky just to be there. These are all reminders of what is going on within you. You know what I'm saying? When you see birds, these are reminders of your spirit, of your soul that is inside you. You know what I'm saying? This whole earth is a manifestation of who you are in a body. But think about it. You have the sun that shines in this earth. You have the moon that shines in this earth. You have trees that are in this earth. You also have the beasts of the fields that are in this earth. So this whole earth is a reflection of your body, and all these animals that you are seeing are a reflection of the beasts and the angels and the demons that are all within you. You know what I'm saying? There isn't necessarily somebody else trying to do something to you. These are all forces that are all within you. This is the truth right here, y'all. But everybody doesn't necessarily get to this level So I'm really kind of just speaking to y'all to show y'all the way to get to this level. This level is found by being one with yourself. This level is found by really just pulling back and being comfortable with what your spirit is speaking to you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has come to this life for a reason. So your truth may not necessarily be my truth, but both of our truths make up the grand truth of this universe. You know what I'm saying? So each person has to really just do themselves, right? You know what I'm saying? That's something that I've really been just seeing and learning lately. You can't even really try to do too much in this life. Really, the way to get it is just to pull back. When you speak, doors fly open before you. So as you speak, you have to have faith, and you have to know that what you speak shall come true. So really just chill, enjoy your life, and just, it's okay. Remember that the rainy days in life are what you need to grow. Just like a plant needs rain and sunlight, you as a spirit, you need rain and sunlight from the spirit, from the life forces, in order to really grow and become a divine soul. So just remember, like, everything is working for your benefit. Like, you really are good. It's all good.